Hello guys, just before we get into the video, if you haven't seen the animation yet, please go check it out because otherwise you will have no idea what I'm talking about. So, link in the description. Hello, welcome to Purple Corner. Today we're going to be talking about how Czequestria 2024 was made. So, Czequestria is actually a convention in Czech Republic. It's been running for 10 years now. It's focused around My Little Pony content. I have already attended 4 times. 3 out of those I have created animated intros for the convention. So I'm trying to contribute a little bit to the community. And today I want to talk about how this animation was made because it is not simple to just make an animation. This one actually took me 8 months, which is the longest out of all of these previous animations. And since it's been a 10 years anniversary, I wanted to make it really special for the contributors and for the team of Czequestria. So I tried my best to show every pony that's been everybody, every pony. We say every pony in the community, get it? So so I really tried my best to show everybody who's been helping to make these great conventions. Every pony, clap your hands! So each Czequestria has its own theme, and I really want to make the animations focused around that theme. So the first year I attended was like 2016 or something. So it was like to the future. Then it was ancient Czequestria or like ancient worlds, and then it was sun versus moon. And this year I tried to find out. In December, there's also another meetup called Winter Karaoke, hosted by the same team, same people as Czequestria. So I went there to meet the Jamis. Some people also know him as the creator of Czequestria or the god of Czech conventions or almighty, whatever you like to call it. I went to talk to him and he was like, yes, you can make the animation. And I was like, okay, what's the theme? And he was like, well, if you look at our webpage, you will find out very cryptic. So I realized I was blind actually the whole time because I never really noticed it. But then I checked even in the Wayback Machine and I noticed that each year there was actually a theme to the website based on the theme of the convention. So this year there were like 4 different colors. There were pictures of apples and fall leaves and winter sticks, flowers and such. And I was like, that's gotta be seasons. I've played enough The Sims to know that this is seasons. So I knew the theme and I wanted to think of the best idea to show all the different seasons running along. I already knew that the main focus would be the main character, the mascot of the convention, Les Bouchets, and then also knew I wanted to add in the pony sonas of the team that's been working on the convention. So I actually kind of already knew my characters that made it a bit easier. So I really loved to make these like looping animations that it just starts somewhere and then it runs a whole loop back to the beginning. And I wanted to apply it here. The idea was there would be a starting point, then it would go through all the seasons and then start back at the start, which would be spring, which just kind of made sense. So I knew my basic concept, I knew my characters, I knew the theme. I already had a picked out music because there's this artist that I know and he makes really beautiful music for string quartets. And I listened to his songs a lot, and it's actually not songs because you don't sing in them, so he's gonna kill me for that. It's gonna be music. So I listened to his music. He only released like 3 compositions, and well, each sound really nice and magical, but some of them sound more like of a fairy tale. There's this one called. Ah, thank you. So it's called Way from infinity, and it actually really reminds me of this like way the travels, you know. Uh, it's just like fucking Lord of the Rings or something. So it's like really inspiring and it just shows the travels. The music is actually made into 4 different segments. They're different by melody and tempo, and they really reminded me of the 4 different seasons. So I wanted to use that. So first I listened to the music over and over, and I wrote down some timestamps to realize which times would the seasons change and so on. Then I decided to draw the storyboard. So as I said, just grab the tablet and got to scribbling. It's just really bad sketches. What the hell? But it filled the purpose of what I wanted to put into the video. I mostly got inspired by episodes from My Little Pony because, as I said, 10th anniversary, and I really love the 4th generation. Now it's at 5th, and I don't really love it. So I just kind of wanted to give a tribute to the previous generation, you know, for taking us really this far, creating the whole convention and everything. So the whole style would be 4th generation, the backgrounds, the style of the ponies, and also what's happening in the animation. The storyboard isn't completely one-on-one with the actual video because I mostly worked with the pony sonas that were available to me, and I think that in my storyboard I drew many more ponies than I actually could work with. I usually put the credits at the beginning of the video, so I did just that, and then I had this flower blooming in mind, which I think is a good representation of spring starting, but also this sort of metaphor for the whole fandom for Czequestria beginning, you know, getting nurtured to life with Libusche watering it. So I thought it was kind of a cool metaphor that it basically starts as a tiny flower and then blossoms into a big tree. A cherry tree is my favorite, so I kind of had to use that. And then for the spring, there was a big inspiration from the winter wrap-up episode. So I used many of these things that I saw in the original My Little Pony episode, like animals waking up and then ponies taking away clouds and bringing birds, and also ponies putting bird nests into the trees. That was also in the plan, which didn't make it in the final version. There was a slight pause in the music at the beginning, and I really wanted to do something with that. I didn't want to just cut it out because it would feel weird, and I thought like I could use it for something nice. And so I basically took some cuts from the original series, some very popular ones, also my favorites, and I used them for this short scene where we put kind of this echoey sound. So it would sound really like dreamy. She was like looking up into the sky and being like, oh, what's happening? This was kind of to show that the animation was focused on like bringing back the memory of the 4th generation by putting these like shots in. And Libusha is like looking up and she's looking kind of scared, and then when she looks back down, she's like, "No, I'm not gonna let that stop me." It's also like I'm just having my own metaphors in the head, and they're like all over the fucking video. So so this one was like, "No, the fact that the generation ended isn't gonna stop us," which is also one factor because many of the conventions actually finished after the series finished, thinking they couldn't hold up any longer. And that's really sad because I wanted to attend some of them and I never got a chance, which is really sad. But it's also like another metaphor once again for Czequestria being like, oh no, it's not gonna stop us that the series ended. We're just gonna keep going, something else is gonna come up and it's not gonna stop people from loving ponies. So I thought it was like a kind of cool addition. In the final cut, I didn't really love the way it blended, but again, it's probably a better solution than just cutting the gap in the music completely and just having it run on. I think that would be much weirder. I asked the artist who made the music how can I put him into the video, because also I wanted to show that he contributed, and he had the one single request, which was put a Minecraft bee in it. So from the beginning, even in the storyboards, there's just a Minecraft bee in it, and it stays there. Minecraft bee. I think in the spring part that aren't many things in the storyboard that wouldn't make the final cut, except very few. For example, there was supposed to be a shepherd leading some like sheep or something. And also, as I mentioned, the part with like the ponies bringing the nests into the trees, because I actually had Pegasus ready for that task, and then she ended up doing another shot from the spring part, which would be the watering flowers, the one where Lucia goes and she plants the seeds, and then the Pegasus goes behind and waters the flowers. I thought it was kind of cuter thing than just having the nest be put in there. So in the final cut, we can just see there's kind of a nest there already. And then one thing that wasn't in the storyboard and then I added later was actually another tree with a nest where there was already like eggs and a bird nesting. So I thought that would do, it was less animating than just like making a Pegasus like carry the bird nest. So then we got to the switch up from spring to summer, which didn't quite go as planned, because in the original storyboard, I was so excited to make this like animation where Libusha just takes off her vest, before she puts on the summer clothes. But I looked at it again and again and I was like, how am I supposed to execute this? Because in the storyboard, the drawing already, she like already has the holes for the hooves out, and then she's just pulling it off her head. And I was like, how is she gonna get it off her front legs? I was thinking about it really hard, and really the only ideas were like she would have to just walk on two legs or sit down and just take it off like this, and that would take way too long before the summer starts. So I was like, okay, we can't do that. So I did some research. I basically just watched the intro of the My Little Pony and saw the part where Twilight does her magic thingy, where she just like teleports, and I thought that's a cool spell. I like how it looks, and I just kind of, in the end, I just get kind of inspired from that into the Magic Blast. I think it turned out really well for how short it took actually to make. And I actually liked that effect so much that I reused it a bunch of times in the rest of the animation. So in the summer part, Libushi was originally supposed to have a sun hat, sunglasses, and also like this handkerchief around her neck. In the end, I took off the glasses. I actually did a drawing where she had them, but I just thought it covered her eyes way too much. And when I just gave her the sun hat and the handkerchief, it gave me like this kind of Studio Gilby vibes, which I really loved, even with the music. And I was just so excited. That I was like, okay, she doesn't need the glasses. You can see her eyes. It's not like she's looking anywhere specific, but still, it felt more kind of whimsical, I would say. The summer part actually was supposed to be a little bit longer from what I was calculating at first. So I think that the summer part probably has most parts in the storyboard that didn't make the final cut. There was supposed to be a lemonade stand, there was supposed to be a pony building sand castles, there was supposed to be a pony that got burned while sunbathing and just running around, red skin, but uh, other things like two ponies playing with a ball and much more. And just the scene was really short. I was glad to have the lake in it and the ponies like bathing and sunbathing. So I basically took the rest of it off. Not to mention that with the sunburned pony, I was like, originally, like, that would be so funny. And then I was like, but if I use somebody's pony so that I just turn it red, nobody's gonna recognize it. So I was like, nah. And then came the fall part. So a brief stop where Libusha takes off her sun hat but keeps the handkerchief because I still felt like that's kind of a fall vibe. And then she goes running. With the storyboard, I think I blasted a lot of ideas that I didn't sure they would make the final cut because it's hard to tell, like when you just have the pictures on paper, how long each thing is gonna be on the screen. I actually knew about three things that I really wanted to be part of the fall section. Number one, very iconic, would be the fall leaf round. I don't remember what's it called. It's the part where all the ponies have a race and they run through the forests and all the leaves fall down because which ponies control weather. Then there was another iconic episode with the cider making. I think cider is a huge thing in the community, even for the conventions. Everyone is just always drinking cider. It's amazing. I love cider, Jesus. And so I really wanted to put in the cider stand with the barrels and everything. And obviously the apple orchard. And the last pretty iconic part is the Nightmare Moon celebration, which is basically like Halloween. Ponies dress up and they play games and they trick or treat. And I thought it was a cute idea. I wanted to draw some ponies in the costumes, so I wanted to put it in. I thought let's also put in some houses because this usually happens in like a town or something. And I added a bunch of activities from the original series, like spider throwing and the Nightmare Moon stand where there was her statue and then it disappeared and everything's going to shit. Oh my god, where is she? Also, apple bobbing and stuff like that. So, some stands I basically honestly copied them from the original episode because I can't make my own original stuff. Then I had this scene in mind because I also like to include my pony sonas sometimes or most times. And in this video, it was just kind of idea where Libusha is running and it starts raining because it's fall and it usually rains during that season. So she would just come in with an umbrella and hold the umbrella for Libusha for a while, and then it stops raining. She leaves. Basically, just to say, I made a small contribution, and that's it. And I was pretty lazy making Libusha change her clothes through magic all the time. So I thought of a different transition from the seasons where all the trees fall down, they fall across the screen, and then there's suddenly winter. So I didn't know how well that would turn out. I didn't know how hard would it be to make, but in the end, I came through. It was still easier than making her change her clothes. And I think it was one of the coolest transitions in the video in the end. Winter, I didn't have many ideas because there's not many winter episodes in the original series. I got mostly inspired from the posters for winter karaoke here in Czech Republic. One of them was a pony building a snow pony, so yeah, just make a snow pony. And then there was also this part where the Slovakian mascot, I always forget her name. I think it's Radoslava or something like that. I'm sorry if I messed up. I don't remember. And it will take way too long to research that. So she's just kind of has this snow pile and she's peeking behind it, just her eyes visible, and then she's reaching out with a snowball. And I thought it would be funny and cute to just put it in the video. And one of the few episodes in the original series, there was the winter celebration, the spirits. I can't name today, so. But yeah, there was just this huge like Christmas tree, basically, some gifts, houses decorated with winter decorations, lights, and such. And in the original sketch, there was actually a pony decorating the tree with some Christmas lights, which I already did in one of my very early animations. And it took forever. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that again. Libusha stops when there's a New Year's celebration with some ponies, just like giving it the break, giving it a reset, some fireworks, some lights also. They give each other like a gift and some drinks, and then she just keeps going. And I also didn't know how that would turn out because uh it didn't seem right when it comes to timing. Like there wasn't enough time for her to exchange everything and do all that stuff while the short break in the music. So I was like, I'll see what's gonna happen. And in the end, it turned out pretty well. She managed to drink some hot cocoa or coffee or tea if you prefer, whatever you like. It's just a dark drink. You can choose what she's drinking. And I was trying to look for references of fireworks in the original series, and I just had a really hard time finding some. Although I know there are episodes with fireworks, it just kept giving me the Generation 5 episode with fireworks, and I was like, no, I don't want that. But yeah, she finishes drinking her cocoa and then she moves on. And we get the spring change again, back to spring. She puts on her vest again and she comes to the spot where she planted the flower originally. And she basically just waters it again and it starts blooming again. And that's the whole loop, You can just basically play it again and again, and always it starts and it ends with the flower blooming, and it's kind of like another year, another Czequestria. That's what I thought when I was making it. And then we get the title. So, ta-da! I realized this video is getting extremely long because once I get bragging, I can't stop bragging about my stuff. So, I'm gonna make it a two-part. So if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe so you can see the part 2 later. I will probably upload it like next week once I finish editing everything. And well, I hope you learned something new. Also, shout out to the great artist who made the music for this animation. So I will also drop a link in the description so you can listen to some of his other music as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the part 2. Bye! And also, yes, also. Also. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. I got nervous.